Welcome to the Economist in Your Ear podcast. Have you ever wondered what happens when the very foundation of a society shifts right under our feet? What if the spaces and the people serving one critical need suddenly find themselves without purpose, only to discover they hold the unexpected key to an entirely different, growing societal demand? Today, we're exploring a fascinating transformation unfolding in China. We're seeing dramatic demographic changes that aren't just altering the population, but, well, actively reshaping entire career paths and even the very use of urban spaces in some really surprising ways. We'll unpack how a profound decline in one sector is creating a unique opportunity in another, and crucially, how policy and ingenuity are playing a pivotal role in this reinvention.
Yeah, and this isn't just about statistics or, inevitable decline. It's really a living case study in human ingenuity and national adaptability. We're going to see how a country reframes what might seem like negative trends into something profoundly constructive. And it challenges some of our common assumptions along the way, actually.
Okay, so let's start with the clearest picture painted by the numbers. There's been a truly significant drop in preschool enrollment across China. I mean, really stark. The official data from 2021 to 2024 shows 12 million fewer preschool pupils.
12 million, that's huge.
Exactly. And that's led to the closure of 42,000 preschools and a staggering 360,000 teachers stepping away from their jobs. It's just a massive upheaval for what was, not that long ago, a booming sector. Imagine the impact on local communities, on families, and, well, on the teachers themselves.
Mm-hmm. And it's not just a temporary dip either. This is a direct consequence of a profound demographic earthquake. China's total fertility rate has just plummeted. Consider this. It fell from 1.8 back in 2017 to just 1 in 2022.
Wow, only one.
Yeah. And for context, a rate of 2.1 is generally considered the replacement rate, what you need just to keep your population stable, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at 1, they are significantly below that. This isn't just a challenge. It's a fundamental societal reordering that has ripple effects absolutely everywhere. The government is acutely aware, of course, and they're responding with initiatives like a new nationwide subsidy, $3,600 per child for childcare, starting January 2025.
Mm-hmm.
They're hoping to nudge those numbers back up.
Right, trying to stop the slide. So we have this massive decline in one area, but what's fascinating is that while one door closes, a completely different one is swinging wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Because precisely as the number of young children drops, China's elder care sector is absolutely booming. It's a direct and stark contrast. Projections show China is set to add 45 million people age 65 and above just between 2025 and 2030.
45 million.
Yeah, swelling the senior population from 211 million to 256 million. That's like adding the entire population of Spain, roughly, in just 5 years.
It's an incredible number. And that booming elderly population creates an urgent, critical demand for care workers. The disparity is truly striking. Back in 2021, China had only 0.27 care workers per 100 seniors. Just think about that.
Almost none, relatively speaking.
Exactly. Compare that to the OECD average, which is around 5.7. It's not just a gap. It's a chasm that needs to be filled, and filled quickly.
This brings us to the real people caught in this demographic current. Take Miss Jiang. She was a Beijing nursery teacher. Her world shifted when the, knocking on the nursery door stopped. She found herself handing out promotional leaflets instead of teaching kids. So last May, she made a momentous switch. She moved to a care home for seniors. Her initial thought, and she was quite upfront about this, was, quote, caring for the elderly is easier than caring for young children.
Mm-hmm. It's an understandable first reaction.
Right. And she found her existing skills, like leading handicrafts and games, things perfect for toddlers, were surprisingly useful with seniors, too.
And Missy Jiang's experience, it's far from isolated. It's really part of a broader pattern we're seeing. Consider Miss Wu. She opened her own successful care home in Jiangxi in 2023 after years working in nurseries. She's already caring for 9 residents, and what's truly fascinating is she receives inquiries from prospective residents almost every single day.
Wow.
But even more telling, she's also getting regular inquiries from other nursery teachers like Miss Jiang. They're actively looking to make this very same career switch. It really highlights the growing visible pull of this sector as a viable new path.
That anecdote about Ms. Jiang is so compelling, especially her initial thought that elder care is easier. It certainly sounds appealing when you're used to the boundless energy and, let's face it, demands of toddlers. But is that really the full picture? Is elder care truly easier, or is there maybe more to this transition than meets the eye?
You're absolutely right to challenge that initial perception. It's a really important point. While it might seem less physically demanding than chasing toddlers around all day, The reality Ms. Jiang is stepping into, and what Ms. Wu is building, is actually a rapidly formalizing and professionalizing field.
Okay.
In fact, April 2025 saw the release of China's first national competency guideline for elder care workers. This new standard introduces multi-level certification. It includes critical medical care modules and even mandates specialized dementia training.
So it's getting quite specialized then.
Exactly.
Sure.
So the work itself often involves not just activities, but things like night shifts, significant lifting, providing end-of-life care, which can in many ways exceed the demands of a typical classroom setting. It's also worth noting that entry wages for these elder care positions, they're already higher than many nursery roles. Which really underscores that this transition is better understood as a massive career upskilling, not a simple downgrade or an easier option. Teachers aren't just changing jobs. They're leveling up into a more specialized, in-demand profession that often pays better. It's a true career evolution.
That's a crucial distinction. It's not easier, it's different, maybe more specialized, potentially better paid. But does that shift also mean a higher barrier to entry, perhaps? Or different kinds of challenges these teachers might not anticipate? And thinking more broadly, does the closure of all those nurseries truly imply, a pure lost economic value for the country?
That's a perceptive question. Yes, the new professionalization raises the bar, but it also creates clearer pathways for growth and recognition, which helps attract talent. And no, the idea that these nursery closures represent a net economic loss, that really overlooks a crucial aspect of resource reallocation. When you convert idle classroom space, for instance, turning a vacant kindergarten floor into an elderly care station like they've done in Chongqing.
Right, the example you mentioned.
Yeah, you're not just reusing a building, you're preserving real estate capital. More importantly, it dramatically raises the utilization of existing community assets, and it actively supports aging-in-place initiatives. That's the idea, where seniors can stay comfortably in their own communities.
Instead of having to move far away.
Exactly, rather than large institutions. So this isn't a pure loss, it's actually a tangible gain in public welfare. You're transforming an underutilized asset into a valuable community service that meets a profound new need.
So it's not just about empty buildings, but adaptable spaces, almost like those modular furniture pieces, but for entire kindergartens. It's remarkable how a problem can suddenly look like an opportunity for repurposing. But on the human capital side, we've talked about the critical shortage of care workers. The numbers were stark. If there are so many teachers looking for new roles, is a short-staffed elder care sector truly a looming social crisis in China? Or is that narrative perhaps too simplistic?
Well, while the initial statistics certainly point to a severe shortage, the talent pipeline for elder care is actually expanding with remarkable speed. We're seeing a direct, market-driven response. Over 70 universities now offer elder service majors.
70.
Provincial vocational schools. They've collectively added more than 50,000 training slots in just 2024-25 alone.
50,000 slots.
Yeah. And the early evidence from the ground is already showing employers fiercely competing for these newly minted graduates. They're pushing salary 15–20% above local averages to attract them. There was even a Shanghai job fair where elder care graduates were apparently 6 times oversubscribed. Just imagine that level of demand.
6 times.
It vividly illustrates an incredibly tight labor market for these skilled individuals, yes, but also a rapidly growing supply pipeline trying to meet it.
Wow, to hear about employers competing for these graduates, pushing salaries up, that's a much more dynamic picture than the typical narrative of just an aging crisis, isn't it? It makes me wonder, are we perhaps too quick to assume demographic shifts are always an inexorable march towards doom? Or are there more subtle mitigating factors at play here?
That's a crucial question. And yes, while the underlying demographic shifts are indeed significant and structural, they're not necessarily a one-way street of inevitable problems. Beyond the national child care subsidy we mentioned earlier, there are also free preschool pilots rolled out in 8 provinces. The aim there is specifically to try and stabilize the birth cohort, so that's a direct countermeasure. And at the same time, we're seeing the increasing integration of digital health tools and AI-enabled monitoring. These technologies are fundamentally raising the productivity of each care worker, which in turn helps ease those headline ratios of carers to seniors, just by allowing more efficient and effective care delivery. It's really a multi-pronged approach. Address the birth rate, sure, but also make existing and future care much more efficient.
Okay, so given all these shifts, the declining births, the surging seniors, the adaptable teachers, these new technologies, What concrete steps is China actually taking to shape this transition proactively? This is where we move from, identifying the problems and opportunities to seeing some really innovative solutions in action. What kind of constructive policies are emerging?
Well, China's moving on several key fronts. One major policy is definitely scaling these nursery to care conversions citywide. And it's not just about cutting wasted assets, it's about fostering genuinely rich intergenerational interaction. The Chongqing example we talked about, turning an empty nursery floor into an elderly care station with joint arts and sports areas, even allowing former nursery teachers to teach the elderly new skills. That demonstrates this perfectly. It's an efficient reuse of existing infrastructure, and this approach has even received official endorsement in the 2025 Government Work Report, which signals its importance.
That's brilliant. It leverages existing infrastructure and skills in such a creative way, but transforming an entire sector isn't just about buildings, is it? What about the human element, the teachers themselves? How are policies specifically supporting their transition directly?
Right, you've hit on a key point there. Another crucial step is introducing these dual qualification grants. The rationale here is to speed up the teacher-to-carer retraining, and importantly, to preserve those valuable pedagogic skills. Think of it perhaps as a 5,000 one-off voucher to help a retrained worker get the necessary elder care certifications.
Okay, like a direct incentive.
Exactly. This means former nursery teachers can transition more rapidly, and their unique skills in patience, communication, teaching, they can be directly applied to elder cognitive programs, which are increasingly vital for senior well-being, especially with dementia care. They're also considering bundling childcare and elder care tax credits.
How would that work?
To encourage households to use formal services. So, for example, allowing deductions of up to $8,000 per year of combined fees from personal income tax. This incentivizes formal care across generations within the same family unit.
I see. And beyond the human capital and the infrastructure, what about the technological advancements we touched on earlier? Silver tech, you called it. What role do they play in government policy here?
Leveraging digital tools to raise carer productivity is a major focus, this silver tech. Think remote vital sign monitoring. AI companions that can provide comfort or reminders, things that significantly reduce the manual workload for care staff. To accelerate the adoption of these innovations, the government is looking to expand its silver tech procurement list and even provide, say, a 20% government purchase guarantee for some of these innovative solutions.
So, helping create a market for them.
Precisely. This isn't just about making care more efficient. It's also about making the elder care profession more appealing, maybe less physically arduous, and definitely more high-tech.
It's clear these aren't just theoretical ideas. Many are already in motion, actively shifting the perception from, a looming crisis to one of innovation and strategic adaptation. What we're witnessing is that the collapse of China's preschool cohort, while initially painful for nurseries and teachers, is actually freeing up a pool of trained, patient care talent precisely when demand for elder services is surging.
Precisely. And this transition, it's far less a frantic scramble and much more a planned labor reallocation within an aging society. That's the key takeaway. The evidence points not to a simple swap from crayons to calligraphy, as it were, but to a professionalizing, technology-enabled silver economy, one that can effectively absorb displaced nursery staff while simultaneously delivering higher quality elder care. It's an incredibly dynamic situation, really challenging many of our conventional notions of how demographics impact a nation.
That's a powerful way to frame it. And as you listen to this, you might be thinking about your own city, your own community. How is it poised to handle shifts like these? What hidden opportunities might your society find in what initially seems like a looming challenge? It's certainly something to ponder, and just an amazing example of how demographics, labor, and policy interact in such surprising and, adaptive ways.